Well, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm your host, Jim Tabor, along with Drs. Jim and Janine Fox of Doctor's Nutrition, located on Callan Moraine Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. We do this every Monday morning, and it is a live call-in show. So the topic that we will be talking about, you're invited to call in and ask questions, or anything regarding your health, because that's what this show is all about, helping you to live a healthier lifestyle naturally. And today we're and also our phone lines, 896-0713, 800-349-0713. You see them at the bottom of the screen there. So if you have a question, you can call in, pass it along to our producer, and they'll pass it along to us. Well, you know, it may be hard to believe, but you know that your body holds about 60,000 miles of blood vessels? Yes, that's, I've checked the circumference of the earth, 24,850 miles. So you have enough blood vessels in your body to almost go around the earth 3 times.
At least twice.
At least twice.
Yeah.
You know, along with your heart and other muscles, they make up what we call the circulatory system. So that's what we're talking about today is circulation. What are some of the signs right off the bat that you could have poor circulation?
Well, I think probably one of the first ones that people will recognize is cold hands, cold feet, even in the summertime, this type of year, you know, where they'll have real cold feet. So that's an indication that you're not getting good circulation, really is. And other things, you know, swelling in the feet, that's what another biggie. You know, your feet swell, especially if you're sitting at a desk or something, you know, like, you know, some people do all day.
Even pain on trying to, you know, just standing there, your legs start hurting, and so pain in the vessels and things like that. But people, the ankle swelling is probably the thing we hear one of the most.
One of the biggest, yeah.
Cold hands and feet, it, like he said, was another one, but that can be a few different things. And, you know, well, every symptom you have can be more than one thing.
Well, sure.
But like with circulation, we always say the first thing is you got to have a healthy heart, because if your heart is not pumping effectively, that will affect circulation no matter what.
Right.
So number one is making sure that heart is pumping correctly.
Yeah, it's sort of like, you know, when you troubleshoot a water system, so to speak, that moves water around. Okay, well, same thing. Heart is the pump. The first thing you got to make sure is the pump working, and is it working properly? And then from there, now we go out into the actual vascular system, the circulatory system outside of that, the peripheral, and so on. That's when you look at those issues.
Yeah, because
a
lot of people that have circulation issues, their heart's fine, but some people it's not. So that's why it's the first thing you got to look at. And of course, with natural, we always use something like high-dose CoQ10. There's a lot of things to actually help the muscles themselves to pump. And, you know, ribose, you got your carnitine, DMG. There's so many things that can actually help with the muscle themselves properly pump. So that's kind of the first thing you got to look at.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that can contribute to us having poor circulation?
One of the biggies is probably inactivity.
Yep.
I mean, if the quote unquote couch potato.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's pretty good.
Desk jockeys?
Yeah, desk jockeys.
Disc jockeys.
I mean, yeah,
Desk jockeys.
You know, matter of fact, one of the things that they always say, you know, and it's come into vogue in the recent years, and it's really a good idea, is stand up at your desk. They've got desks that, you know, that raise up and lower and so on.
One of our assignment editors, she has one.
Yeah,
raises
it's a good
like
idea.
And
It
for
really
years
is.
that I was in radio, I spent so many years in radio, I did my show standing up.
Yep.
That way I could move around and everything. I wouldn't just sit there in a chair all day long.
Right.
You know, for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yep. But
Well, I mean, that's one of the biggies, you know, because the inactivity is probably one of the biggest things, especially nowadays with people's jobs, like you said, desk jockeys, you know, where you're sitting at a desk all day long, and you know, even if you do, get up and move. You know, exercise is one of the best things for circulation.
Sure.
So
now another thing that affects circulation a lot is obesity. There is no doubt we see, but a lot of times if you're obese, you're also inactive. So it kind of goes together a lot of times. So that is another one of the big risk factors. And another one that a lot of people don't think about is stress. And stress does it because it actually causes vasoconstriction. And vasoconstriction is when the blood vessels all kind of clamp down. And when if you think about it, physics, if you have a smaller hole, it takes more to push it through.
right.
So when you vasoconstrict, you will try to increase the blood pressure to compensate, but that doesn't always compensate the way it should. So controlling your stress and helping stress also helps circulation. People don't always think about that one.
Someone called in. Do you have anything that can help with psoriatic arthritis?
Yes. Actually, with psoriatic arthritis, it's not just one thing.
No, it's
For
more.
one, diet plays a big role. And you do find that a lot of people with psoriasis have food allergies. So we always recommend doing the food allergy testing because they might be different in different psoriatic arthritis patients. So the food allergy testing will tell you what to eat, what not to eat. But also, anytime you have something like, the psoriasis and the psoriatic arthritis, you always, the omega-3s.
Yeah,
I mean, the omega-3s are great for that. And then we also use Pernimax, which Pernimax we use for all of our arthritises, whether it's osteo, rheumatoid, or psoriatic, but it does actually help the joints. And then something like SPM, that is for the inflammation, or even the curcuma veil. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things you can use for psoriatic arthritis. And like we always tell everybody, no matter what your problem is, you want to fix any underlying problems. So if you do have vitamin D deficiencies, or if you have any deficiencies, do something with those. So that's why we always recommend doing the, we recommend usually for that is the pain panel, because it will actually even check some other inflammation markers and things like that that might go along with it.
Okay. All right. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. We're talking about circulation today and how to help improve your circulation if you have poor circulation. But if you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to call in and do that. What are some of the other things that when we talked about getting up and moving around for having poor circulation? What is there other things that we can do? I know exercising.
Well, exercise,
I saw
definitely.
somebody say,
exercise.
lay on the floor and put your legs up the wall.
Right.
Yeah, actually even yoga's been shown to actually really help with circulation.
Right.
And that's not like a high intensity,
No.
but it does definitely help circulation. Walking, just simple pumping, when you pump the feet, it actually helps with circulation.
Yeah.
So they do know that too.
And if you smoke, stop.
Oh yeah, smoking
Plain and
is
simple.
really bad
Yeah,
for
because
circulation.
When she talked about stress causing vasoconstriction, so does smoking.
Smoking does it too.
So stop. It's got a lot of other downsides to it too. So good idea to stop smoking.
Yeah. All right, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. We're talking about circulation this morning. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. And welcome back to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm Jim Tabor, along with Drs. Jim and Janine Fox of Doctor's Nutrition. We're taking your phone calls about circulation or anything else at 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Someone called in and asked if you wake up with your feet hurting, is that considered a circulation problem?
Possible. I mean, it's highly possible. Could be some other things too. For instance, the neuropathy type thing. So it depends. You'd have to look at the whole patient. You can't just say that one symptom's going to be a definite, but it's highly possible.
Yeah, but it can, because if you have bad circulation after you've laid there and you haven't moved, around and walked and everything else, there's no doubt it tends to get a little worse. So people do complain of that have circulatory issues, but like you said, it can be other things. It can definitely another thing is plantar fasciitis. To me, if somebody says their first steps hurt tremendously, that's more plantar fasciitis than circulation. Usually if it's circulation, if you're still laying there, it might hurt, but when you start walking, it might start feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, because I'll get up sometimes in the morning time when I take my first steps, first couple of steps out of the bed, my feet tingle a little bit. Once I get, take a few more steps, I'm fine. Another question, what are the benefits of CoQ10 and when is the best time to take it?
Well, your body has to have coenzyme Q10 to make the ATP, which is the energy that every cell in your body has to have. So it's the biggest part of that cycle. And without ATP, the muscles, nothing can function well. So it's the number one thing that keeps that energy cycle functioning.
Yeah, and CoQ10 even has benefits for the immune system.
Right.
You start looking at CoQ10, it is just beneficial. Your body produces it. So it is so important that your own body makes CoQ10. Now, one of the problems of why we see so many people deficient is because there's a lot of medications out there, and a lot of heart medications actually, the statins, the beta blockers, and some other blood pressure medicines, and even some of the diabetic medications that deplete your own body's production of CoQ10. And so if you start depleting it, then your cells don't get the energy the way they should, so then the heart can't pump effectively like it should. So then it starts affecting the circulation and many other things too. It can actually make extreme fatigue. So energy to the body, just feeling like you have energy. So it can do it. CoQ10 is very important and very essential.
And that's the reason, if you're taking one of those before mentioned drugs, so either a lot of your beta blockers, other blood pressure medications as well, and some other meds, plus the statins, and dadgum, everybody's on statin drug. Okay, so you really need to take coenzyme Q10. I don't care if you're who you are, what's going on. If you're taking a statin, you need coenzyme Q10.
And you said when's the best time to take it? I mean, you can take CoQ10. There's not like a time you have to, but I usually tell people take it. I take mine in the morning just because it tends to give you a little energy. And to me, that is when I take my own.
Yeah.
Okay. Is what we eat important to better circulation?
Oh, definitely.
No doubt. And drink. You know, that's
Yes,
the biggie.
drink.
You know? I mean, a lot of people might eat halfway right, but they don't drink enough water. And you know, when you look at the majority of our blood is water. I mean, it's got some other stuff with it too, but the majority of it's water. And without enough water, that circulation is really going to be bad. And then too, what you eat. Some foods, a higher fat diet tends to, you know, the fatty molecules tend to make the blood a little bit more viscous. So, you know, and they're good for you. You got to have them, but at the same time, you want to make sure you drink enough water.
And I think everybody's probably heard this, if you're diabetic, it lowers circulation.
Yes.
And so diabetes, there's no doubt. So staying off of sugar, keeping your sugar under control, keeping your weight down, that all affects circulation. But like I said, the circulation, there are so many different things that affect it. And being dehydrated, the water thing, dehydration does it. And if you think about it, if you have something that doesn't have as much fluid in it, it's not going to be it doesn't easily go through like it should. So it's not really vasoconstriction at that point, but it's just about the viscosity of the blood, and that makes a difference too. So you have to have the blood to where it's, you know, more watery. You want it to be actually more watery, so you've got to drink a lot of water. So drinking a lot of water is very important to circulation as well.
Right. I mean, like you said, as far as the water, if you just put something out in the sun, after a while it's going to shrivel up. Without any kind of moisture or water on it, you know, just like a plant or something like that. So that's the way our veins are. You know, you got to give it some water. So. And
something like garlic is really good because it actually thins your blood a little bit. So having your blood a little thin is better than your blood being thick.
Yes. And one of the problems is as we mature, I don't like the age word, but as we mature, we tend to have a little thicker blood anyhow. So, so as we mature, it's more of a problem for us. So we need to be more cognizant of taking care of this, right?
Like I said, the garlic is one thing that people can eat. And now beets is another thing that actually has some benefit because it increases nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, on the other hand, vasodilates, so it opens up blood vessels. We have a product called Amino Flow that it opens up blood vessels, and that's the way it works, is it opens up blood vessels, so it increases circulation and blood flow. We use it a lot for blood pressure because, of course, if you're vasodilated, your pressure is better. And we use it for ED because that's a big circulatory issue in men. That's one of the things you see a lot in men as they get older, that's the first thing they'll notice is the ED. So the Amino Flow is really good for that. And our Natto Advantage is one of the things we do to keep the blood from being as thick, and it also definitely increases circulation. And it has something in it called rutin that keeps the vessels themselves very healthy, because keeping that endothelial lining, I can't say that word, healthy is very important for circulation as well.
Okay. I got a question. Should you take a diuretic at the same time as other medications, or is it better to space them out?
That is a question for your pharmacist.
Yeah, I've never really seen it. So that we always defer those questions to the pharmacist. They're the people that know. They really are.
Right. So we do more natural medicine. And so if you ask us about that, we would know. But just ask your pharmacist when it's the best time to take it.
Okay. You know, we were talking earlier about sitting at your desk and all this and the circulation and all that. I know a lot of people, whenever they've had surgery, they always send them home with compression socks. If you're in a job that you can't move around much during the day, I mean, you're sitting there, would it be advantageous to wear compression socks?
A lot of the authorities out there in cardiovascular areas talk about that a lot, because they said, you know, again, if you use the compression hose, it keeps the blood from pooling in the feet, and then when you do get up and walk, it helps you pump around better. So
yeah, so
good
they're
idea.
very beneficial.
Yeah.
But of course, in our world, we try to tell people to be healthier.
Yeah.
If you're healthier and don't have the problem in the first place, it's more of a treatment for circulatory problems.
Right.
You want to prevent circulatory problems. I don't know how often we say that we want prevention, but you do want to prevent. But if you do already have the problem, definitely do compression stockings.
Yeah.
But you want to kind of stay active and exercise and do all the things that you need to do to keep from having the problem.
And even if you're sitting at the desk, move your feet.
Yeah. And like I said, just because you're
Well,
getting
I do that all
old,
the time. I'm always sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm bouncing my leg up and down.
Yeah. Okay.
just
well,
because
there
you're
you
getting
go.
older does not mean you have to be unhealthy.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. All right. Got some more questions we're going to get to in just a moment. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Those are our phone numbers. We'll be back with some more of your questions and this week's special. And welcome back. It's our final segment of this morning's show, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open. We're talking about circulation and whatever else ails you, we can talk about. But let's go ahead and look at what this week's special is.
Yes, natto advantage. Natto or nattokinase is the main ingredient in natto, and it is something that's a proteolytic enzyme that tremendously helps circulation.
It does.
I think you take it, I take it.
I take it.
She takes
We
it.
all three
We
of
all
us
take
take it.
We all take it, right.
I take it kind of preventatively because I don't
Yes.
have a problem.
Right.
But I started taking it just because if you look, it is one of the best stroke preventions out there. And I do have that in my family.
Yep.
So because it's in the family, I started taking it before, and circulation. That
Yeah.
never hurts to.
And that's why you recommended it to me,
Yeah.
because back in 2003 or 2002, I actually had a TIA.
Right,
That
and a
was totally
TIA
unexpected.
is
It was a mini stroke.
Yeah.
And that is a stroke risk. I
That's-
mean,
that
because
puts
if
you
you
at higher risk,
if you have a
right.
TIA, you know the bigger one might be coming if you don't do something
Right.
preventatively.
Then I haven't had an issue since.
Right.
Cool.
And so the natto is something that people that take it for all kind of different reasons definitely can tell the difference. They all come back and say, "Oh my God, my legs feel better, and you know, I feel like my circulation's better." They don't even know it's for that, and they come back and tell us
Yeah.
that they see a bigger difference. Now it does have the natto kinase in it, but it also has serrapeptidase, which is another proteolytic enzyme that's known for inflammation and circulation. And then it has rutin, which rutin is known to help the strength of the vessels. So it's more about the strength. And so it helps with that. But the product itself works really good, great for circulation, great for cardiovascular health of any kind. Kind of amazing. I've seen some of the research in other countries, especially saying, man, this stuff can help almost anything related to the cardiovascular system. It can help.
Now, the Japanese have pioneered it, and they have done some tremendous amount
Yep.
of research on it. It's amazing.
Yep.
All right, got a question. Do you recommend beetroot?
Well, not exactly, and I'll tell you the reason, because we have something called Amino Flow, and what you're trying to get is the amino acids, so like citrulline,
Yep.
and that you get out of beets. Now, beets are great. I love to eat them. Don't trust me, right? Well, that's big. I love the things, but at the same time, you know, rather than the beetroot powders and so on that we got, we just happen to have. Matter of fact, we've had Amino Flow way before the beet powders became popular.
Yeah.
We kind of pioneered that
But
one.
one of the
years
reasons
ago.
it's not that we say no, we don't
No.
recommend it. It's just more like
We've got something
it
to
has
play.
sugar in it. When beets do have a high sugar content, and so there is something that you can take instead to do the same thing without getting the sugar. So that's probably the biggest reason why we don't recommend
Right.
that, because of the sugar.
Right.
Yep.
All right, another question. I'm 73 and suffer from leg cramps. I usually have to get up and walk around in the middle of the night. Is there anything that I can take or do to help with this issue?
Yes, sir. There is. We actually have a liquid mineral complex, and it's got, you know, a lot of different things in it. Specifically, one of the best things that we found for those nighttime leg cramps.
Yes.
I take it myself.
He takes it because even though he had taken other minerals, he was occasionally jump up in the middle of the night
Yep.
and have to
I'm
walk
like
around.
This
Yep.
dude, yeah, we get up and
And-
have to go. You know, it's
Right,
always to it.
and he started doing this, and he has not had that since.
No.
And so, and now it's not the best tasting stuff in the world, but it does work really well. So it is a liquid mineral that
I
we
mix
use.
it in. I mix it in with the stuff that we use instead of the beetroot. That's
The
called
Amino Flow, yeah.
I mix it in with that. You don't even know it's there, and
Yeah.
I do that every night before bed. And seriously, once I started taking, it's just called liquid minerals. I think is what they call
Yep.
it, right?
Yep.
And Yeah, it's kind of simple name, but it really works. I mean, truly one of the best things that we found, because like I say, the minerals, I've taken every mineral on and helped some, but the best thing I found, especially, I mean, this is just right up this guy's brain. Yeah.
All right, another question. I have gout. Is there anything you would recommend that is a vitamin or supplement to help reduce the swelling?
Yes, we actually have something called uric acid formula. It's specifically put together for gout, and it's specifically to lower uric acid. Now, we always recommend changing your diet as well, because that's what causes gout, is your diet usually, and genetics. I mean, usually genetics and your diet together actually is what's the cause. So we do have a sheet that kind of tells you what to eat, what not to eat. And then we also have the uric acid formula, which has your black cherry extract. I'm sure you've heard of that for gout. And it has bromelain, quercetin. There's a lot of things in the uric acid formula. So, yep, that one
And
works
drink
really
a lot
good.
of water too.
Yeah, lots of water.
You want to try.
You always want to stay hydrated when you have gout.
Well hydrated, because you want to try to flush as much of that uric acid out as you can, because it crystallizes, and if you've had gout, you know what.
And that's what
pain
gets in the
is.
joints, yeah.
So what issues can arise if we don't improve our circulation?
Well, one of the biggies that comes to mind is death. I mean, you know, and that's
Kind of forward there, but
that's the ultimate one, you know. But I mean, you know, different pain when you walk. You know, a lot of the difficulties with extremities, you know, like say the cold hands, feet, that kind of thing. But you know, you can have all sorts of issues, even brain fog. You know, if you don't have good circulation, you're not getting good.
You don't
good
get
flow
oxygen to the brain.
Right.
And
then you also have an increased risk for forming clots, which is a stroke
Right.
is a little clot,
Yeah.
and that increases your risk if your circulation is bad.
Yeah.
So that's one of the big ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. We've been talking about circulation today and what you can do to help improve it. And of course, if you don't, the things that could be seriously happening to you if you don't improve it.
I think it boils down to pretty simple, you know, drink a lot of water.
Get off your butt.
Move.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say move, but whatever. You know, it's the same thing. It's
Just to be frank with you, get off your butt.
Get off your butt. Yeah, and because I mean seriously, if you do those two things, you're way ahead of the circulatory thing.
Right.
I mean, you know, obviously if you smoke, stop that. If you know, I mean, maybe working on it, but just
Stop smoking, decrease sugar.
Yes.
If you're overweight,
Yes.
lose weight.
Right.
And, you know, fix any underlying problems you should have.
Right.
I mean, because all that can affect it. If
Yeah.
you start looking, the body is a whole. It is not just parts. So anything wrong in the body can affect that problem. So that's why you have to kind of look at overall health.
Yeah.
One reason we actually recommend the full panels is so that we can see everything that's going on that might be affecting your primary problem. That's the only way to know is to check it.
Yeah, medicine doesn't do that much anymore because of insurance. You know,
Right.
Insurance wants you to kind of target certain things. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
You got a headache.
But the body is a whole and it all affects each other.
Have to look at everything.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
It
that's
does.
kind of
All
what's up there.
encased in this little
Yes.
shell that we have.
Yep.
It's a
So
magnificent
many
little
issues
shell.
that go on, and a lot of times we have to address them individually.
Yeah.
But you know, one of the biggest things, of course, is that affects it all is your circulation.
Yep.
All
Yes.
60,000 miles of it.
That's right.
Exactly, all of it. That does make a
Next week,
Next week, we're going to talk about SPM, which is special pro-resolving mediators. And we're going to talk about the new research and the things that are coming out about it. It's kind of amazing. So we just wanted to let everybody know about it.
all right. You can also find more information by going to their Facebook page or going to doctorsnutrition.com. And again, we will see you next Monday morning or on WLOX CBS for another edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. Have a wonderful week.